The Worldwide Conservatorium of Music welcomes you to Lives of the Great Composers. Today, Wagner. Presented by Professor Percy B Scholes.
Hello. Wagner was a towering musical genius whose like will never be seen again. Or so he would tell everyone, and no one could deny it. He'd shout them down. Born in 1813 to a theatrical family, Richard Wagner received no formal musical education, but he wasn't worried about that. He just went out and became a famous conductor and composer, as you do. He was also a radical Republican who actively relied on royal patronage. He was an anti-Semite who actively relied on Jewish financing. He was a seducer of women who actively wooed the homosexual King Ludwig II. He was a philosopher. Well, he'd have to be, wouldn't he? He was a tiny man with a huge head, which created massive problems for caricaturists. He had strong beliefs. He believed that when God prayed, it was to him, and treated himself accordingly at other people's expense, and he also had a vile temper. Apparently, though, he was very kind to animals, by which I presume he never played his music to them. Wagner was happily married. His wives weren't. He would be quite romantic sometimes, even to the woman he was married to. There's a famous story wherein his second wife, Cosima, woke on her birthday to the sounds of his newly composed Siegfried Idol being played for her by an orchestra on the landing outside her bedroom. However, what is not generally known is that when she got up, she had to cook breakfast for them all. His first operas, Rienzi, The Flying Dutchman, Tannhäuser, etc., were surprisingly quite popular, and the folks that enjoyed them, I imagine, in Germany, would have been known as the first Volkswagners. Small joke there. However, his masterpiece is Der Ring des Nibelungen, consisting of the operas Rheingold, Die Valkyrie, Siegfried, and finishing with Gotterdammerung. It is commonly known as Wagner's Ring, an unfortunate title. He not only wrote the music for his pieces, but the libretti as well. A warning here. There is a certain type of person who believes that Wagner was a great poet. Avoid these people at any cost. Leave skid marks. In a train, change carriages, in a plane, parachute. For once launched into their lunatic topic, the only way to retain your sanity involves firearms. Because of the huge demands made by his operas, Wagner built a theatre to specially stage them and, by the by, commemorate himself. It is in Bayreuth, and it is known, amongst other things, as having perfect acoustics. To achieve this, the building was constructed out of wood, including the seats. So be warned, the only thing that is padded in Bayreuth are the prices. Attending the ring cycle there is seen in serious musical circles as a rite of passage, an initiation, a sort of musical circumcision. After Bayreuth, you have bragging rights, especially as many people seem to find it akin to a near-death experience, which doesn't surprise me. My friend Dr. Dean's recollections have been known to clear lecture halls and college dinners. I myself have been to Bayreuth numerous times, and the one thing I love about it, and the most important thing I have learned, is that when everyone is at the opera, you can get a wonderful table at the local restaurants. Oh, another little word of warning. Be very clear when booking your airline tickets. The first time I went, I ended up in Beirut during the war. Before approaching your first performance of a Wagner opera, the wise person should do their homework. The most important thing is not to drink liquids for several hours beforehand, as you will discover that it starts at 7, and after about 3 hours it's only 7:30. The other little trick for the first-timer is to continually look forward to the comic characters coming on. Of course there aren't any, but it saves you from despair. Just remember that everything in Wagner's operas is epic, and not only for the audience. You can while away the hours during the ring by giving some thought to that huge orchestra squeezed hot and sweaty into that pit, with only cheap deodorant for protection. Think of the conductor waggling his arms for hours in spite of industrial deafness. Think of the singers bellowing over the top of all that noise, and of Brunhilde's horse, who for days has had no roughage. I believe that Wagner's greatest contribution is a little recognized one. He created the quintessential image of the opera singer, that large lady in a Viking helmet. Indeed, Wagner's greatest friends these days appear to be cartoonists and advertising people. His music is used to sell everything from cars to cough drops. This, however, does not always work, as can be seen in the case of one safe sex campaign which used his music and the slogan, "Say no unless he's got a dammer on." I look forward to our next little chat. Till then...
This week's featured books are Illustrated Fingering Techniques, all models over 18, and Why We Need Another Recording of Vivaldi's Four Seasons. They're available at all good bookstores, and many that aren't, along with this week's featured CD, Bagpipes for Lovers. You can find all these and more at the Worldwide Conservatorium of Music website. Just remember what all our students say about us, what a con. That's whatacon.com. Program produced by Gregory Gish.